Welcome back to Kdramas Decoded, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode of your favorite K-drama. Episode 7 of A Bona Fide Killer picks up with the city caught up in World Cup fever, creating the perfect opportunity for a pickpocket to take advantage of the huge crowds. But while everyone else is focused on football, the real action is happening elsewhere. After an undercover meeting finally comes to an end, the team prepares to leave through an emergency exit and blend into the crowd. However, before they can leave, they notice something suspicious. Two men have rushed into the building through Gate 3, apparently being chased. Both head towards the emergency staircase, but only one eventually comes back out. The team immediately becomes suspicious. They soon discover that the other man has been seriously injured and is lying unconscious on the 5th floor, bleeding from the head. An ambulance is called, and thankfully, he survives. The injured man is none other than reporter Kwon Tae-sung. As Tae-sung recovers, his colleagues joke with him about his injury, but it becomes clear that his near-death experience has changed the way he looks at life. He talks about how ordinary things suddenly feel precious, joking with friends, getting nagged by family, wondering what to eat tomorrow, and simply being alive. During his recovery, Tae-sung meets a mysterious woman who seems strangely familiar to him. He cannot shake the feeling that they've met before, although she insists they haven't. At the same time, the team starts looking into Tae-sung's work as a journalist. They discover that he has written extensively about Kingfisher, but unlike many journalists, his articles aren't simply attacking or glorifying the mysterious killer. Instead, he focuses on analyzing Kingfisher's motives and the wider social issues surrounding the killings. Tae-sung's writing reveals something important about him. Years earlier, a friend of his was involved in a tragic incident, causing him to become interested in crime and justice. He eventually became fascinated by Kingfisher and even wondered what kind of person would devote their entire life to eliminating criminals. Ironically, he has no idea just how close he is to that person. Meanwhile, another major development is unfolding. The deaths of Tak Jong-gu and Chairman Chun Seong-gil have become a huge topic in the media. At first, investigators wonder whether Kingfisher accidentally killed an innocent man alongside his intended target. But Tae-sung's investigation starts uncovering evidence that Chun Seong-gil may not have been innocent at all. The team eventually receives a tip from someone claiming to have information about Chun Seong-gil. That tip changes everything. Evidence begins emerging about Chun Seong-gil's criminal past, including allegations surrounding construction site deaths that had previously been dismissed as accidents or suicides. The revelation causes public opinion to shift dramatically. Kingfisher may not have made a mistake after all. Instead, Chun Seong-gil may have been exactly the kind of person Kingfisher targets. And this is where the connection between Kingfisher and the journalists becomes even more interesting. The reporters realize that their investigation keeps leading them towards the exact people who eventually become Kingfisher's targets. But while the journalists are investigating Kingfisher, Kingfisher is dealing with his own problems. One of the most emotional developments of the episode comes when Bona decides that she wants to leave her job. After 10 years of working in the field, she admits that she's exhausted. Her colleagues understand why she feels that way, especially after everything she's experienced. She has spent years living with danger and violence, and now she wants something completely different, an ordinary life. Her boss doesn't immediately accept her resignation. Instead, he tells her to take some time off and go somewhere peaceful. Somewhere with clean air, no people, and ideally, no phone signal. The irony is that Bona has already found the thing she needs most: a normal life. And that normal life is largely because of Kwon Tae-sung, the man who unknowingly became the reason she returned to living rather than simply surviving. We then get a deeper look into Bona and Tae-sung's relationship. 8 years earlier, Tae-sung was seriously injured while investigating a pickpocketing incident. He was unconscious for around 4 months, and doctors warned that he had come incredibly close to death. But someone had called 119 and saved his life. That person was a mysterious woman. Tae-sung never discovered her identity, because the emergency call was made using his own phone, meaning the emergency center couldn't properly identify the caller. And he has no idea that the woman who saved him is actually Bona. Their meeting after Taesung woke up became the beginning of their relationship. But now, with Bona thinking about leaving everything behind, the two sides of her life are colliding. She wants to be a wife. She wants to live peacefully. She wants to be part of an ordinary family. But Kingfisher keeps pulling her back. The episode also gives us a lighter and surprisingly wholesome storyline involving Bona's workplace. After returning to work, Bona's colleagues have supported her tremendously, so her husband decides that they should invite everyone over for a meal. The team is understandably suspicious. Their boss almost never lets people into his home, so they wonder whether the dinner is actually some kind of elaborate cover operation. But surprisingly, it really is just dinner. Bona prepares an enormous homemade meal, determined to thank everyone for helping her settle back into work. The evening gives the characters a chance to relax and behave like normal people for once. They eat, joke around, and even start talking about relationships. One particularly interesting moment comes when Bona's husband tells everyone how they met. He explains that 8 years earlier, he was badly injured while covering a pickpocketing case. After waking from his coma, he eventually met Bona on the hospital rooftop. He immediately fell for her. The others find their story incredibly romantic. But then comes the question that neither of them expects. Who was the woman who called 119 and saved Taesung's life? Taesung says he has always wanted to find her and thank her. Bona says nothing, because she knows the truth. She is the woman who saved him. Elsewhere at the dinner, Kai Youngdu becomes increasingly uncomfortable. He has already discovered that Bona's company isn't an ordinary workplace. His investigation reveals that the company's third team appears to have a very unusual purpose. Eventually, the truth is revealed to him. The team secretly identifies and eliminates dangerous criminals. In other words, they're connected to Kingfisher. Youngdu is offered a position within the organization because of his unique abilities. But naturally, he's terrified. He asks what will happen if he refuses. The answer is chilling. They only make offers to people they believe won't refuse. Youngdu realizes that he's effectively trapped. And this sets up another important relationship, because after the dinner, he ends up alone with one of the women from the team. There is clear chemistry between them, although Youngdu is far too overwhelmed by everything happening around him to know what to do about it. At the same time, Bona's decision to leave the organization becomes more serious. Her colleagues reveal that this isn't actually the first time Kingfisher has disappeared. 8 years ago, Kingfisher also took a long break. And that period of inactivity coincided with the same time when Bona met Taesung. Now, after another extended break, Kingfisher has suddenly returned. And this time, the killings are happening at an alarming pace. The implication is huge. Bona wasn't simply taking a break from Kingfisher 8 years ago. Something happened to her. Something involving Taesung. And now history appears to be repeating itself. Bona insists that she doesn't want to continue. She tells her superior that she has thought about it carefully and no longer wants to do this work. Her boss agrees to let her take a proper break before making the final decision. He sends her away to a remote location where she can disconnect from everything and think about what she really wants. Bona travels there with Taesung, hoping to experience something completely different from the violent world she's used to. For once, she gets to enjoy small things. She even begins showing Taesung how to appreciate beauty and ordinary moments. But their peaceful getaway doesn't last. The area suddenly becomes isolated after the roads are closed. And then Taesung receives devastating news. A criminal has been released from prison. And the moment he gets out, another violent incident takes place. Taesung becomes furious at the police for failing to stop Kingfisher. He still believes Kingfisher is a psychopath and a murderer. But then Bona says something that changes everything. She tells him that she has a confession. She knows who Kingfisher is. And that's where episode 7 ends. The biggest question now is whether Bona is finally going to reveal her secret to Taesung. And, more importantly, whether Taesung can accept the truth about the woman he loves. Because the man who has spent years writing about Kingfisher may be much closer to the killer than he ever imagined. And the woman standing beside him may be the very person he's been trying to understand all along. Episode 7 leaves us with one massive cliffhanger. Bona knows exactly who Kingfisher is, but is she ready to tell Taesung that Kingfisher is actually her?